And I'm going to be talking about Birth of the Dragon, who of course is about the legendary, well, if you see the picture, the painting behind me, it's right here in Chi-Town on Artisan Street near 71st. The legendary Bruce Lee himself. So, let's talk about Birth of the Dragon. Hey guys, hope you like that painting there. That's kind of a cool painting. There's other famous people there. And you know what? Before I get into this, man, that's where you really got to give credit where credit is due as far as who is definitely a badass. I mean badass. I kind of say it the Australian way. I don't know why it sounds cooler. Actually, it probably sounds cooler in American. Such a badass movie or a badass dude. In Australia, they say it's so badass. But what I was trying to get at is that's a painting in a bad neighborhood, actually, and nobody spray paints on that. That's to show you the respect that Bruce Lee has, man. And actually, some wonderfully talented black people put that painting together over there, and to show you, man. I mean, don't know if this is gonna sound racist or not, but whatever. I'm Mexican, not racist. Either way, trying to get to the point here. Too late. Black people, let's face it, are some of the best athletes in the world, no doubt. And you know, they have everybody you can think of on that wall. I'll show it some other time, maybe some other videos when I start talking about. I'm sure they'll make movies about everybody. But they have Muhammad Ali up there. When it comes to the Olympic runners, the wonderful black girl that won the Olympics as far as gymnastics goes, they got Serena Williams up there, Tiger Woods, the one black woman who won the races in the Olympics. Everybody up they have there is black. Like I said, best athletes in the world. But what's so cool about that is that when it comes to martial arts, they didn't put Jim Kelly or Ray Jackson, who Ray Jackson definitely was actually a real champion in kickboxing. They don't have, when it comes to that, they didn't put one black person up there. They didn't put a white person either. But when it comes to martial arts, it shows you that they know who's the best when it comes to martial arts. You know, it's in their head. Bruce Lee. That's to show you that Bruce Lee being Chinese, he broke through a lot of barriers in his time because he dealt with a lot of prejudice. And what was so special about him is that not just recognizing the talents, that helped break through to a point where, to anybody, to black people especially, Bruce wasn't Chinese. He was Bruce Lee. He was nothing else except Bruce Lee. And, you know, that kind of magic only happens, you know, once in a lifetime. So, and yeah, he could capture the very young, the very old, black, whites, Asian, creeds, everybody in between. And like I said, that magic only happens once in a lifetime. Well, that's what I have to say about Bruce. Besides the fact that I see a lot of martial artists, not to take anything away from them, but there's a lot of martial artists you see, they're not doing what he did. Bruce always fought with fakes. And mind you, now, Bruce was also a very dominant practitioner of Wing Chun. He was very good at it, too. I myself have not a predominant practitioner, but I've gotten to practice Wing Chun and learn from two very special teachers who I hope will do an interview with each one of them sometime in the future. One of them being a very talented Wing Chun practitioner named Vincent Ng, who also happens to be a chiropractor. It's a nice setup, right? Beat your ass and then send you up to his chiropractic office. And the other one named Ian Willis, Sifu Willis. Mind you, both these guys definitely don't do a watered down version of the art. Hold on a second. Too much light coming into the back. I look like a ray of light, like, alrighty then. Alrighty then. But yeah, in the dark side of the Force. But yeah, Birth of the Dragon. I'll get into this now. Sorry, wasted a lot of time. Yeah, one more time. I will do a video on Wing Chun. Probably when I talk about Ip Man, but I'm hoping to do an interview with the two individuals that I told you about. Especially in Chicago, a lot of people here who don't go. Not to take odds again, and I hope my seafoods don't get mad at me for this. There's a lot of people doing Wing Chun out there, and they're really doing a watered down version of it. I mean, wrists flopping everywhere and everything, and you know, real practitioners of this art really do it very effectively. So yeah, giving you a heads up there as far as future videos. I hope to do one with them. But back to Bruce Lee, Birth of the Dragon. I don't know, I didn't get a chance to get his name, but the guy who plays Bruce Lee did a good job. I mean, still really doesn't fight like him. Then again, nobody fights like Bruce. But he did pretty good. His Wing Chun was actually pretty good. I'd say he looked a little bit like Bruce. More like Bruce when he, the way he looked in the Chinese Connection, or should I say Fist of Fury, or The Big Boss, whatever. However he looked in this movie, this guy looked a little bit like how Bruce Lee looked at that time. But, okay, Birth of the Dragon is basically saying that it was the birth of him as far as him taking his martial arts to the next level. Very little of this story is true. I've not only from my own research, but from the seafoods that I mentioned that I learned a little Wing Chun from, have told me a lot about what happened with Bruce. And, you know, them being practitioners, they've gotten a lot of information through the grapevine. And maybe Vince a little bit more because he's Asian. Okay. All right, Vince. Probably going to beat me up later on. But yeah, a lot of this story is not true. It just is not true. Some of it is, especially some of the prejudice in the movie. I even found out that when Bruce was dating his future wife, well, it was his girlfriend at the time, instead of him picking her up, he had one of his students who was white pick her up. And I heard vice versa. He did it for him too because he liked the Chinese girl. So he'd go pick up the Chinese girl for him, and then they switched dates when they went out. That's what I heard. But also the story of Wong Jack Man and stuff. Either way, I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. I'm just saying that a lot of what happened in this movie is definitely not accurate. I'll tell you the version that I got, I heard about. And actually, I'll quote Linda Lee, or Linda Caldwell Lee. Her name was Linda Caldwell, but I think she still has the last name Lee. Not sure if she does, but either way, she's still known as Linda Lee. I won't tell you what this movie, what it gives you as far as that version of the story. I would just tell you that it's not accurate. But I will tell you this, it's a good movie. It's interesting. Anything about Bruce is usually interesting, though. But no, the movie's interesting. It's got some good decent fighting and action. It's not a boring movie. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's not boring. People would like this movie. I really don't know how much attention it's getting. I didn't see a lot of people buying tickets for it, but I highly recommend the movie. I do. So I won't tell you what this gives you. It is an interesting story. I'm just telling you it's not accurate. Don't take a lot of this storyline to the bank, in other words. But to make a long story short, the real story of Bruce getting to a fight in Oakland, California like he did probably lasted not very long. It involved a lot, quoting Linda Lee here, it involved a lot of where Bruce got challenged to a fight because a lot of the Chinese community, as far as the martial arts go, did not want him teaching white people, or really only, let me take that back, didn't want him teaching anybody else except Chinese people. And Bruce wasn't like that. Bruce wanted to teach everybody. Bruce didn't have any prejudice in his heart at all. He would teach white, blacks, creed, everybody in between. And so they sent someone. If he were to win that match, he could teach whoever he wanted. If he didn't, he could only teach Chinese. So Bruce took the challenge. He got challenged by this guy who came to his school. They got into a fight. the fight lasted a few minutes long, and it involved a lot of this martial artist running away from Bruce Lee, until finally Bruce got a hold of him and put him on the floor and made him give up. That's what I'm hearing really happened. I'm pretty sure that version of the story is probably most likely what happened. But this version of it, there are some aspects of the story that are probably true, but this is bullshit. I'm calling bullshit flag on this one here. But that's all I'm telling you as far as it's just not accurate. But then again, a lot of movies probably aren't accurate with the storylines, but I'm not going to say this was a bad movie. I was entertained by it. I couldn't wait to see the fight between the two. It was, I liked it. It had some funny moments. It was a good movie. 5 stars is my best rating. The video's going on too long, so I'm trying to end it right now. 5-star being my best rating, I will give this, let me give it a 4. Give it a 4-star rating, because the movie in its entirety was actually good. I walked at it like, wow, that was good. So I'm sure you'll do the same. But once again, gonna cut the video short. Always saluting Bruce Lee, the greatest martial artist ever. And saluting you guys on a daily basis. And I will see you guys in the next video. Alright? Later, guys.